Everyone, it's crunch time. 4 rounds in, 0 wins on the board for both sides, and the pressure valve is hissing like a Friday night kebab van. Carlton rock bottom at the minute, 0-4, and let's be honest, they haven't played like a wooden spoon side. Close losses, missed chances, late fades, we've seen it all, but moral victories doesn't mean it when the ladder says zip. West Coast in the same boat, playing in a rare game in Gather Round in Adelaide against a team that's almost as lost as a tourist at Southern Cross Station. It's got get it right game written all over it, but this is Carlton, so let's not count the chickens yet. For the Eagles, they're rebuilding. This is about pride. Rumours are that Tim Kelly has been dropped and a fan base wondering when's the next win coming from. They're rebuilding, but the response needs to be fast from both sides. Let's run that intro and get into this crunch fixture. So the tail of the tape then, Carlton 0-4, right at the poor end of the ladder. Narrow losses, some statistical wins, but a team that is confidence with brittle ramifications, and the belief seems to have gone. The Blues playing a very archaic brand at the minute. It's not exciting to watch, and it has been a struggle. West Coast in the same boat, getting smashed in nearly every statistical measurement. They've now dropped Tim Kelly. McQuote is sending a clear message. It's time to perform or you're out. Recent history suggests Carlton have an easy one. They've won their last 4 by almost 10 goals. It's been one-way traffic, so this is a game that the Blues really will want to get stuck into. Let's look at some of the key matchups here before we get into the data. Charlie Curnow and Harry return against West Coast undermanned defence. No McGovern, Sandy Brock has been the main man, and this is the matchup for Carlton fans like myself. They're looking forward to. Curnow has 24 goals in the last 3 games against the Eagles, and Harry McKay, he returns after his personal leave. The Twin Towers are back in full flow. West Coast, they have been underdone here. Tom Barras has left. Jeremy McGovern's availability is a doubt, and they've had to use Sandy Brock and Ruben Ginbey in this position. Ruben Ginbey is a real interesting matchup here because he was a big-bodied midfielder that can swing down to halfback. He has really showcased that he can really get the ball to ground, a bit like Jack Silvani for the Blues. So this is a really interesting matchup here, but one that Carlton must certainly have the edge in. Carlton need to stagger their position, use the space wisely, and stop clumping into the same areas. This is something that Curnow and McKay do quite a bit. If they can keep the separation, they can rip this game apart. West Coast simply don't have the aerial power to do this for 4 quarters. It's a matter, really, not if Charlie and Harry get chances, but how many and how clean them chances are. Then the midfield battle, Walsh, Chera, Cripps, Hewitt versus, well, Harley, Reid and a few other guys pinch hitting through there. No Tim Kelly, it makes it look very raw. Harley, Reid, Liam Baker have swung through there. They've shown a little bit of promise, but they're still learning the ropes, really, Harley Reid. A lot is expected of him, and he's been swung down half back. Carlton, though, really, on the other hand, are incredibly stacked. But the problem is, at the coalface, they're not really getting the rewards. This is where the Blues have to take control with clearances, dominate stoppages, and starve West Coast of any time and space. This is a real important one, though, that the Blues get possessions and use them wisely. We don't want to see big numbers. We want to see actual impact from these areas. Then we've got Matt Carroll making his debut. It might be not the most classic in. It might not be one that makes you excited, but he has impressed in VFL, and his return from being delisted at the end of last year, spending the whole year injured, and coming back has really shown that he's got some poise, clean ball use, but he is incredibly tough when he's called upon. Carlton have lacked that Nick Newman-type player that can defend well and get forward, and Matt Carroll, based on his Sandringham form, is that type of player. He's really got a big job here because Cowan has kind of played that lockdown role but not found it. One of Matt Carroll's strengths is he has played that lockdown role and had that Nick Newman ability to find the pill when he was a junior. Carlton need to fix their messy exit patterns. This isn't about just getting through the forward press. It's about actually being able to unlock cleaner ball movement and get yourself out in space. It's a big ask, but this kid has definitely got potential. and we're hoping to see him play to his strengths. West Coast don't have a lot of match winners at the minute, but they have got Harley Reid, and at the moment he's coming under probably some unfair criticism, but he needs to find that free rein off half-back, and when he pinches in the middle, to really make an issue. Carlton need to put something on him early, frustrate him, and limit his space, and that seems to be the method at the minute as Harley Reid, a young player, works through that kind of attention, because if he does get an inch and he does get a little whiff of some good times, he can really hurt you. This is going to be a really interesting one of how Carlton negate this, because halfbacks still are an issue for the Blues, who can find ball and help the transition to game going. And Harley Reid really is one of them players. The battle of the turnovers, this could be a chess match and answer the question, who is actually a football side? Both sides have been appalling with the ball when they have had it. Carlton are number 1 for turnovers, the worst in the side in the league, 63.8 turnovers per game. West Coast 62.5 second. Disposal efficiency, you're looking at the two bottom teams. 18th for Carlton, 17th from West Coast. And turnover score differential is dramatic. -12 for the Blues, -35.5 for the Eagles. These teams are coughing it up like a flu in winter. For Carlton, it's about fixing decision-making and making it easier finding players in uncontested situations, not burning your man. For West Coast, it's about getting it out of their back half without disaster and minimalising errors under no pressure. They really are susceptible to perceived pressure. I expect a few early patches where it is going to be ugly, but these teams need to settle, and whoever settles first really helps it. Forget goals. At times, this game will come down to who butchers it less. Now, let's get into the tactical snapshot of these two sides. Carlton play like a high-pressure, territory-based game. They rank 3rd for inside 50s and tackles inside 50, but 18th for scoring effort. It's all about effort and little about end product. West Coast, they try and get control at the minute, slow the game down. Safe kicks cause chaos, but it's killing them for 18th metres gained. Turnover scores and forward half pressure, they rank bottom. Carlton have to bring the heat, force mistakes, and trap the ball in. West Coast still try and chip the ball out of trouble, but 1 or 2 bad kicks and it blows open, and then we start to question their intensity. It's a very, very higgledy-piggledy side at the minute, the Eagles. They look all over the place at the minute and lost. So this is going to be interesting. And then let's deep dive into that shot quality. Footy's changed. It's not just about bombing the ball in and hoping your forwards take a hanger anymore. Modern football, winning matches often comes down to who gets better shots, and not just more shots. You want shots close to the goal from better angles and taken with zero pressure. And you want that in as few disposals as possible while maintaining possession of the ball and control. So when we're talking about shot quality, we're really talking about efficiency of movement, connection between midfield and forward, and decision-making in high-stakes moments. And that's where you look at Carlton's quality at the minute. They really do dominate the ball at times, but then absolutely butcher it. You're looking at a side that shows that should be winning when you look at these metrics. 7th for inside 50s, 2nd for tackles inside 50s, showing that they can get the ball in there and lock it in. But then you look at this, Carlton are the number 1 heaviest contested possession rate in the league. And it's no surprise that when you look at the teams that have higher amounts of contested possessions in their pure possession numbers, they are the lowest efficiency side. It's harder to kick accurately when you are under the cosh. No one does it. Look at Dan Houston when his contested possession rate hits that 35, 45 possessions. It will go down from 80, his efficiency, till about 70, 60. It kind of mirrors. But when you look at Carlton's efficiency, they are 18 for shot efficiency, 17 for disposals per shot, 18 for scoring efficiency as well. This tells you Carlton are doing everything right to get it there, but in a real slow, hard, industrious way. Classic symptoms are Curnow, McKay leading into the same space as Kemp and Young. Mids bombing the ball under what is zero pressure with no awareness of the leads in front of them. Small forwards like Motlop reacting late instead of anticipating drop zones and the fall of the ball, and playing hesitation between playing on and reset, leading to awkward floating kicks inside 50, not going sideways, not going backwards, trying to change the angles, just really looking lost. And then it also comes into it that players are reluctant to have a shot at the goal. Fogarty, Motlop at the minute don't look like they want to pull the trigger. This is a team that works harder than most to generate Scots that are worse than anyone else. How do you fix that though? One, you've got to stagger your tolls, and that would be quite simple as Harry McKay stays deep, you get Charlie Curnow roaming forward, and then whoever is the third, Kemp or Moya, they stay as the connector. They've got to be that connection between midfield and forward. Does that mean you're bringing Elijah Hollands in, who also helps connect that? You've got to have two staples. All the top teams have a player that genuinely roams outside 50, excluding the tolls, and looks to change the angles. You see Ben Keys do that marvellously for Adelaide. This creates leading lanes and separation instead of congestion, giving your smalls real space to crumb, instead of always being the second option behind packs from a bad kick. And then the other one is really slow down the entry. The Blues rush, win the ball, go, go, go. It's not very effective. It's panicked. You've got to tell the players to be if there's no clean lead, shift the ball laterally. Use Sard, Carroll, Ollie Hollands, Blake Acres to reset and re-angle your entries, creating a better avenue to goal. And then it's also looking at the leading patterns. If you watch teams like Collingwood, Sydney, Adelaide, Gold Coast at the minute, it's almost like choreography when you watch their leading patterns. Adelaide, a team that I really enjoy watching. You know where Thilthorpe's going to lead almost every time. You know Tex Walker's going to run 75 metres up the ground. You know that Thilthorpe does that literal lateral movement, and then you know that Fogarty is going to ghost towards the goal square. Carlton needs to treat the forward 50 like a dance floor. Everyone moves with intent and purpose. Every lead has a reason for it. At the moment, it's like a mosh pit, and everyone's leading for the same channel of space, hoping to get their hands on it. This shows disconnection. This shows real high pressure. You've got to trust the hand inside. They lead the league in contested possessions, which would say that you should be able to get it on the outside and get these good angles. You've got to get Cherrett, Walsh and Cripps using the give and go and not just bang it on the boot and hitting space hard. This will open up space, draw defenders up from around the ground as you run and create havoc in the zones. Bang, fixed. West Coast, though, have the same issues. While Carlton's issues is more conversion and quality versus dominance, West Coast problem is they don't get enough ball. 17th inside 50s. They don't go anywhere with it. Negative 921 metres per game. And when they do, they leak scores on turnover. It's like you're watching a side play in quicksand at the minute. The ball movement is slow and predictable. They play it safe and don't look to run it with hand. And there's very little overlap run, which means that sometimes players get caught massively in transition where they haven't committed to that overlap run. And the kicking is to a static contest, just long. Even they're a slight better side at goals per inside 50, it's misleading because they're not even having the options to go in there. So a few shots to take a look at do look better on paper. So how do West Coast fix this? And how do Carlton exploit it? Well, they've got to go shorter and look for runners. If you're playing Harley Reid down the back, you've got to look to explode him. If Carlton can cover the corridor and take away their short options, you will see what happens to them happen to someone else. The ball will go down the line. That's where you set your intercept traps up, you look to reset, and then you launch over the back of the top. They've got to learn to turn defence into offence. 18th for score turnover differential, that's massive. Anytime they lose their ball, West Coast are literally vulnerable and sitting ducks. They've got to look, West Coast, to really moving up the ground in numbers and playing it a little bit less safe. When they sit back, it gives space for players like Ollie Hollands, Blake Acres, Sard, Matt Carroll to run into and then break them open. Once halfbacks in the league get into the midfield, you've already got what we call an overload. And that's something that West Coast need to really commit to and Carlton have got to exploit. And then you've got to kind of control the tempo. What is famous about West Coast Eagles is down the back when they were good, they controlled it. At the minute, it is looking like speed is the hatred. High ball movement tempo equals disorganisation. Carlton need to flood these areas as they sit back and then look to create the overload in the forward 50 and exploit that lack of repeat efforts that you see from the Eagles. Eagles at the minute are sitting ducks. So to make this simple, Carlton are like the boxer at the minute with one killer left hook and an iron chin. But they're shadow boxing. They've got the power, the territory, but at the minute, no knockout punch. They've got to free the hands, let them go, fix the way they enter 50, change the way that you're moving the ball, looking to be overlapping, looking to go shorter and find them in contested areas. Carlton can be a contender. West Coast, they're getting battered from all angles at the minute. They're trying to play keepy offies in a bar fight, and it's not going to work. If they don't start taking risks, they'll get torn apart. At the minute, flooding defence isn't working for them because they've got nowhere to go when they've got the ball. And this is where you see the rebuilds of Hawthorn, bits of Richmond at the minute, and bits of North as well, where they commit to that offence, knowing they may get beaten, is only going to help serve them right. You can't protect the scoreboard in this game. So if you're Michael Voss, your issue isn't really the talent, it's timing, structure, and polish. It's using smarter ball use to get inside 50, but also making people responsible and also finding them open spaces and getting players to attack space, not numbers. And for McQuarter, it's not possession for possession's sake. It's back the young legs in, get some run and carry. You're losing anyway, so at least lose with aggression. Drop one back to control the aerial game, but commit players to be overlapping and be a lot quicker out of stoppage. The players we're going to watch in this game, Charlie Curnow, he's owned West Coast recently. Feels like a big night for the Charlie. Adam Cerra and George Hewitt both have shown patches of form. Hewitt has shown impact. Cerra needs to turn these touches into impact and really get himself into form. For West Coast, we're watching Ruben Gameday set the tone physically. He may get Charlie Curnow in this one, and that's going to be interesting. Charlie Curnow's secret against this side when he was up against players like Barras and McGovern is he brings the ball to ground and he knows he can beat them. This is where Gimby's probably Charlie's equal. Charlie's going to have to outmark him, and that's where Gimby's got a chance here. Gimby's got to run with him, use his elite aerobic engine, and work on the ground. Harley Reid, he's raw, he's out of form, he's copying it from all angles, but this guy is capable of magic moments. If Carlton let a halfback, when he swings there, get easy touches, he gets into the game. And the other guy we're watching from the Eagles is Archer Reid. Archer Reid has an uncanny knack of finding them zonal zone chaoses in the forward 50. He's kicked a lot of goals against the run of play. This game here for Carlton's mental state is really important. No one gets up and about. So they're three guys we're watching. My prediction here is Carlton by 57 points. I think it should be a comfortable win for the Blues. Best on ground, I'm going to go with Adam Cerra. And I'm going to go with a Curnow bag here, 8 goals for Charlie. And wild card moment, Charlie Curnow gets hit out, lace out from a marauding Carroll after he does some overlap runs. Cult status unlocked. For Carlton then, to summarise, this is more than a must win. This is desperation stakes. Stabilise the system, stabilise the season. You've got 2 games that are as close to practice games, with all due respect, as you'll ever get in the AFL. Eagles and North, they're 2 sides that are vulnerable. Carlton have to win this game, otherwise the pressure cooker will explode. West Coast, the rebuild continues, but you want to see heart, you want to see hunger, and you want to see something that says in 5 years' time, this is the system we play. They need to head in the right direction by not playing so safe and playing so tentatively and actually take the game on. I would much rather see a side lose playing the system that's going to win them a flag in a while. The stage is set, the heat is on. Carlton don't want to walk away without 4 points and a percentage booster and a little bit of hope. That's the wrap up then. Let me know what you're thinking. I hope you enjoyed this new style. Please make sure you come and see me tonight. Adelaide versus Geelong. Can't wait to watch that one. Of course, we'll be live for this one. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Peace, love, and light. Pom out.
Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.